When we think about the greatest engineering achievements in history, we think of towering skyscrapers, vast oil fields, entire industrial cities built on land. We believe civilization's biggest machines must stand on solid ground. But there was a secret. Engineers attempted something that sounded impossible: compressing an entire liquefied gas plant, a structure larger than many aircraft carriers, onto a floating platform in the open ocean. A machine designed to survive cyclones, move with the sea, and operate for decades without returning to ship. Then something changed. The real challenge wasn't steel or stones. It was an invisible world of digital models, hidden systems, and global coordination spanning continents. One mistake, one missing connection, and the entire project could collapse before a single piece of metal touched the water. So, how did humanity build a floating industrial giant beyond anything seen before? And what does its hidden architecture reveal about the future of engineering itself? Because the greatest structure wasn't the one floating above the ocean, it was the one no one could see. Welcome to the channel. You are watching Wonders of Innovation. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.
An onshore LNG plant requires hundreds of acres to process and store hydrocarbons. Prelude compresses that massive footprint entirely onto a single floating deck. To float that infrastructure requires an immense hull. At 488 meters long, Prelude displaces 600,000 tons of water and contains 260,000 tons of steel. It is engineered to produce 3.6 million tons of LNG per year. To achieve the cryogenic temperatures necessary for liquefaction, the onboard systems draw in 50,000 cubic meters of seawater every hour for cooling. This entire process occurs 200 kilometers off the northwest coast of Australia. The facility is designed to withstand a Class 5 cyclone, manage continuous 6 degrees of freedom motion, and remain on station for up to 25 years without a single trip to a dry dock. Standard linear handoffs between design and construction teams rely on spatial margins that do not exist in this footprint. A minor routing error during the engineering phase can manifest as a physical clash months later, thousands of miles away from the design center. When you pack 82,000 tons of topside processing equipment onto a single deck, a minor routing error in a single piping spool can cascade into massive physical clashes. To control density, the project relied on PDMS, a centralized 3D digital twin and single source of truth governing every component. Within this environment, the engineering was fractured into breakdown structures, separating data by design, work, construction, systems, and cost. By isolating these layers, engineers could track every single valve, cable, and structural beam from initial conceptual design straight through to final physical delivery, resolving interface clashes in software rather than in physical steel. Constructing a high-fidelity 3D model with strict work breakdown structure discipline was an absolute prerequisite. The digital facility had to be built perfectly before the construction shipyards could cut a single steel plate. Translating that digital model into reality required an enormous human effort. At peak mobilization, the execution phase integrated a workforce of 6,000 personnel. This map shows the global distribution of the consortium's operations, scattered across France, Dubai, India, Malaysia, South Korea, and Australia. The Technip Center in France acted as the coordinating authority, managing the flow of design data outward to engineering centers in India and Malaysia. Meanwhile, the massive physical construction of the hull sections took place in the dry docks of Samsung Heavy Industries in South Korea. The work breakdown structure logic took an overwhelming total project scope and converted it into independent, manageable geographic work packets. Each yard and engineering center had a strictly defined set of deliverables. Distributing the fabrication across continents mitigated local labor and resource bottlenecks. However, it entirely transferred the risk of project failure onto the flawless management of the digital interfaces connecting those dispersed teams. Nowhere was that interface management more critical than here, on the 82,000-ton topsides. This aerial view reveals the labyrinthine density of the yellow process modules tightly packed onto the deck. The design was dictated by strict limits of constructability. Engineers accounted for crane liftability tolerances, strict volume congestion rules, and overall module mass. To meet these tolerances, the topsides were fractured into 14 distinct modules, each defined by a specific function, such as separation, dehydration, liquefaction, and the boiler systems. These discrete modules are linked by rigid physical dependencies. Process systems overlap with marine utilities. Because of the digital twin, a piping stress update made in India instantly triggers a data pulse, automatically updating structural fatigue models in France. In ultra-dense offshore facilities, a work breakdown structure is a mathematical necessity for resolving geometric clashes before they physically exist. Static onshore plants sit on bedrock. Floating facilities are subjected to the continuous kinetic energy of the ocean. This creates a destructive physical phenomenon known as sloshing. As the hull experiences roll and pitch, massive volumes of liquid LNG generate violent internal wave action and impact forces against the hull walls. To survive severe cyclonic weather, the 488-meter hull must be able to weather vane, rotating freely to face the bow directly into the wind and waves to minimize these dynamic loads. This rotation is handled by the turret mooring system. It is a 93-meter tall, 12,000-ton steel cylinder integrated into the hull, managing 4 production risers and 16 separate mooring lines anchoring the vessel to the seabed. This component presented a severe integration risk. The internal turret was engineered and fabricated in Dubai, but it had to drop into the hull built in South Korea with millimeter precision. Resolving these dynamic load transfers and international integration challenges required an execution discipline far beyond standard offshore development. The final test of this approach was the physical assembly. Here, a large lattice crane hoists a completed topside module onto the Korean hull, proving the exactness of the digital constructability models. To ensure data continuity from early design straight through to operational startup, the consortium implemented a flawless project delivery program. A core strategy of this program was maximizing the pre-commissioning of utility and process systems while the vessel was still at the construction yard, well before sail away. All of this careful sequencing culminated on December 26, 2018, when Prelude achieved its ready-for-startup milestone, finally introducing hydrocarbons from the Browse Basin wells into the facility. The successful physical fit of 260,000 tons of steel was a trailing indicator. The actual victory occurred years earlier in the strict alignment of the digital twin. Prelude successfully compressed and mobilized a massive onshore LNG process into an offshore marine environment. When energy megaprojects reach this intersection of scale and density, pure mechanical engineering brute force is no longer sufficient to solve the complexities involved. The physical structure of Prelude is the visible output, but its viability depends on the underlying system architecture, the digital framework that coordinates every physical interface across the global supply chain.
5 key takeaways. Number 1. Prelude FLNG redefined engineering limits. It proved that entire industrial plants can operate offshore instead of on land. 2. Digital twins were the hidden key to success. Advanced 3D models helped engineers solve problems before construction even began. 3. Global teamwork made the project possible. Multiple countries coordinated design, fabrication, and assembly with extreme precision. Number 4. Extreme ocean conditions required revolutionary solutions. The facility was engineered to survive cyclones, waves, and constant movement at sea. 5. The real achievement wasn't just the steel structure. The biggest breakthrough was the invisible digital system connecting every component and team worldwide. Main lesson: modern mega projects succeed through data coordination and digital engineering, not just physical construction.